Afternoon all, I'm with my good friend Chris, known as Chess Explained. We're here for game 11, the penultimate game of the World Championship match 2012. Hi Chris.
Yeah, Triathlon. Hi. We're at the next to last game, and let's see what happens. It's the last game in which Gelfand has got the white pieces, so in a way we can assume that this is his last try to maybe decide the match before it gets into the rapid playoffs. So let's see if he made some headway in this game. We have, I think, a pretty similar opening to game 9, right?
So
Nimzo again.
So yep, d4, and then we went into a Nimzo Indian. So knight c3, allowing the knight to be pinned to the king.
Yeah. This also made me lost a small bet because I yesterday guessed that we would get a Catalan. So. All right, it's just a little fun game that I play with a friend of mine, guessing the openings. At least I went the first Nimzo I got right, but the second one I thought that Gelfand would maybe vary earlier. Okay, so we got a Nimzo again, and also the E3 variation, the Rubinstein.
Rubinstein, yep.
Yeah, and I think the new move compared to the game before comes at move 7 or move 8. So
the tension is increased again in the center, like a previous game.
Now we got castles, which is identical to game 9, and now comes Anand's new setup. It's not a novelty, but it's new for this match, and I also doubt that he played it before. I didn't look it up, but considering that that Gelfand spent really lots of time on move 9, I think it was some kind of a surprise. Okay, d takes c4, bishop c4, and now bishop d7.
Yes, this had a lot of people questioning what the purpose of this was, because to a lot of people the more natural move might have been maybe a6 for b5 later if the bishop was going to come on this diagonal.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to play for b5 in those setups because white would almost invariably play a4 at the earliest moment to prevent it.
Yes.
I think the idea of this move is, one idea is of course to put this bishop on c6, where it does basically quite the same things as it does on b7, so you can easily compare this to a setup with b6 and bishop b7. But in a way on c6 it's a bit different because this bishop is anchored. It's very nicely protected all the time. You haven't weakened in a way your queen side in any way with b6.
And also perhaps the b6 square, instead of a pawn on b6, black can also look forward to knight d7 to b6 later if the pawn's not there.
This is one idea, and also as we see in the game, black will play queen a5 later, so it's similar to those b6 setups, but with a little twist, and it has the practical advantage that it is a surprise, I think. It is a known move. I think it has been played before, but certainly new to Gelfand. If you think not entirely new, like he never saw it, but it looks like he didn't have anything ready for this, because I think he almost invested close to 30 minutes now to come up with the next two moves.
Yeah, I thought it might be more. And I think I was watching, so he played a3, which a lot of people were expecting, and I think Peter Zvidler was going on about time management in the official commentary stream, saying if there's not many alternatives to a3, perhaps it should have been played quicker, because otherwise you have to calculate bishop a5, c takes d4. I think and bishop takes c3, and your workload is cut in three if you just wait for the opponent to play the one of the three. Unless there was a viable alternative to playing a3, I wonder why it wasn't played quicker here.
Yeah, it's difficult. I'm not quite sure about the subtle points here in this position, because First of all, Vishy played bishop a5 now. Yeah, he didn't take on c3, and also not on d4.
Yeah.
And this is always hard for me to understand, because it's not like I'm criticizing this move. It's just the statement that I don't understand it. He takes later on c3, a couple of moves later.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what the value is to first retreat the bishop and then capture later, because White's moves in the meantime look pretty normal to me. But okay, I'm really no expert, and it's hard for me to tell.
There's a delayed capture in the French defence winner, isn't there? You can play bishop a5 and then later bishop takes c3. That idea is in the French winner, isn't it?
Yeah, there are also examples for this in the Nimzo, where Black first plays this retreat and then captures later. But I'm not in a position to explain what's the point, really. I cannot tell.
Maybe it's faintly as though bishop c7. No, but it's not going to be on the cards. It's not going to be on the card. The intention.
It's hard to see. And the thing is, if White would, for some reason now, would be forced to play some moves he wouldn't play otherwise.
Right.
Let's imagine Black would take on c3, b takes c3, right? Wouldn't White maybe play queen e2, rook d1 anyway? I'm not sure. And now bishop c6. Would White have a clearly better move now than queen e2, and maybe knight e5, stuff like
maybe
this?
Maybe queen e2 is quite functional. It's providing a battery against b. If b5 was useful for maybe c4, queen e2 seems to be a very sensible move for that battery to prevent b5. But
if you would play queen e2 now and let's say knight e7, rook d1, we have exactly the game position, but Black is the move up.
Right, so he's actually losing a move. Yes, that's a major thing. Why would he want to lose a move? You're right.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's not criticism. It's just lack of understanding. I'm not quite sure. Maybe one idea is for some reason, if you play bishop a5, yeah, what he did in the game. Let's say he played queen e2 now, which makes, I think, lots of sense. Rook d1 is prepared, and now bishop c6, yeah.
Yeah.
Now if White would go knight e5, which could have been an idea after the immediate capture, then Black, I think, would has the option to simply take on d4. And okay, White could maybe play rook d1. Yeah, okay. So maybe this isn't. But now, maybe they move like queen c7. Maybe this is the point in a way to still have those the central tension. Maybe this is a nonsense variation possible. Just e takes d5, right, and all Black pieces are standing on various awful squares.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Bishop would be doing there, because b4 might be useful.
Yeah, this is just a bad setup. Black is just terrible here. So I'm not sure of the point, really.
Mystery.
Okay. Yeah, bishop a5. Well, at least it made Gelfand think quite some time.
Because actually it's two mysterious bishop moves. One was that, and now this one. So it's quite funny, isn't it?
Yeah, well, bishop d7 has a clear purpose. It wants to go on c6, knight to d7. But bishop a5, I'm not quite sure. Okay, queen e2, bishop c6, and rook d1. And only now he took on c3.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. He takes now. Yes.
Okay. I mean, the tempo is maybe not so important. Yeah. But it's just that I don't understand it. Now at bd7, very logical, completing development. Yeah. Now we can see that this setup with bishop on c6 and knight on d7, this makes quite an harmonious impression, I think. It's also a matter of taste. I kind of like this setup, so I would I would maybe consider playing this as Black, because I just have a fondness for this bishop position on c6. It's so nicely protected there and cannot easily be expelled from this position.
If we try to grab a pawn, I guess Black plays queen a5.
Yeah, and Black is better, I guess.
Whole structure's wrecked.
Yeah, and White has no idea really to get something going with his c1 bishop. You cannot play e4. This is I think the problem.
Yeah.
Even if you could play e4, it's not great. But yeah, this is I think just fine for Black.
So bishop.
Should d3 prepare c4 or e4?
Yes.
So
that would liberate the bishop either potentially on that diagonal or just here. So it's c4 or e4 to try and help this bishop. And I think Zvidler said the bishop belongs on b2. I really liked his comments, actually. I was trying to pick up some insights from the way he was saying his comments. He sort of knows where pieces belong clearly in different types of positions. I think after c4, bishop does belong on that diagonal for d5 breaks, for bishops potentially dangerous. The hanging pawns could be protectable with the rooks maybe on c1 and d1. So what do you reckon if that structure was c4? Do you reckon the bishop does belong on b2? It doesn't belong anywhere else?
Yeah, it's maybe the diagonal where you want to put it. It's pretty similar, this kind of structure. I'm not quite sure if Zvidler mentioned this also. This is quite similar structure to a Queen's Indian with a3, this Petrosian variation. It's quite similar. Often there you have a similar structure from White's point of view, but Black, this is the difference here, has got two knights and doesn't have a dark squared bishop anymore. Otherwise it's a very similar structure, and there White also plays bishop b2, and the kind of ideal thing what you like to do is play c4 and d5, maybe as a pawn sacrifice, and then trying to use those two great bishops on b2 and d3 to attack. You would find some very nice classic examples of Kasparov's, of course, in this kind of formation. Yet this maybe you covered this already in your chess-based series. The game against Portish was also this kind of structure. Portish in 1983, I guess, where he sacrificed on h7 and on g7, double bishop sacrifice. And this is kind of the model game for this structure.
I think it was Lasker Boyle, wasn't it? Lasker also sacrificed bishop once like that.
Yeah. It wasn't exactly the same thing, but there were two bishop sacrifices on h7 first and then on g7, and then it got to this position where White got a knight on f5, and you know when Gary's got the knight on f5, it's always mate. So, yeah. Okay. So let's get on with this game.
So Queen a5. Now, why isn't Bishop b2 possible? I guess it's the Queen is implying it might come over here after cd. So maybe the bishop doesn't want to commit to b2 here.
Maybe, but one point also could be here. If you put it on the board, Bishop b2. One point could be that this bishop might be easily attacked soon with the knight b6,
knight a4. Ooh.
This could be a bit ugly. And this also shows a point behind this bishop d7 move. As b6 is not played, Black can use this queen a5, knight b6 to his advantage. This even might be good for Black already, I'm not sure. Knight a4 looks very inconvenient, unless a4 is working here.
Also, but there's a tactic here, isn't there? c4, because you can take here and double the pawns if that's useful.
Yeah, but c4 I can play just bishop c2.
I suppose, yeah, that's keeping bishop parallel.
But the question is, what happens if Black simply grabs the pawn on a4? And I think he can. Instead of c4, just grab the pawn.
With the knight?
Yeah, but there's no point in playing c4 really, I think.
Yeah.
Why play c4? Let's just grab it immediately, a4, and then grab immediately after a4. I don't think c4 does so much positive.
Oh, this pawn, queen takes c4.
Just from a structural point of view, I don't think you want to close the center down.
No. Let's not go into that.
Let's just look first at knight takes a4, just for.
Oh, sorry, knight takes a4 here.
Yeah, just grab it immediately, and now you're maybe ready to play just b5 and drop the queen back. It's not easy to see what White should have here.
I think knight e5 though. To try and get rid of that, I don't know. That looks.
Yeah, this could be an idea.
I don't like this pin particularly, even though it's. If b5, well, b5 is not possible now, and this pin looks nasty. I'm not sure this is.
Yeah, the pin is ugly. You're right.
This is not might be a disaster here.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's complicated. It's complicated, but maybe knight b6, a4. Ah, you're not really. You don't need to take. You can also take first on d4. Is there any way better? Difficult.
Yeah. Yeah,
Difficult to say.
maybe just queen h5. This is the intention, maybe. Well, in the game. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, black does not need to do this. He has got some alternatives, but another idea, which is just very simple chess, is bishop e4 here.
Yes, get rid of the better bishop. Yes.
You can also do this if everything else fails. And it's I'm not quite sure. White could play a move like bishop c4 to avoid the trade, but this looks a bit pointless, I guess. Maybe knight b6 here. I don't think... The thing is, this bishop is potentially good on b2, but unless white gets c4 and d5, and it's just a bad piece there.
Yeah.
So, and black has very nice central control, very hyper-modern kind of approach. He's got all these pieces nicely using the center.
Yeah.
I don't think it really amounts to much. So he went for c4, and the game... Yeah, and now Anand quickly took on d4. He played all this very quickly. I was actually getting pretty optimistic at this point for black because he had such a huge time advantage.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe if there are some complications coming up and it gets down to concrete calculation and nerves kick in and so on. But well, Gelfand played it very solidly and very professionally, I guess, not minding to draw. Not trying some suicidal stuff with being low on top. So yeah, well, queen h5, it makes a lot of sense, pressurizing the f3 knight.
Yeah.
And yeah, and here he played bishop f4. I think this makes also quite some sense, controlling e5.
Yes.
You could think about bishop b2, but I'm not sure if this is so helpful here.
Yeah, maybe black can take...
You can consider this because, well, the pawn structure is not exactly beautiful after this. And
Maybe a move like knight h5, actually. Maybe...
Yeah, f4 is a good square. I'm not sure. Knight h5, white might just return to c1.
Target c4 as well, I suppose, is a target.
Yeah, a black can play this, but just as in the game, you could also argue for maybe just not taking immediately on an f3, just maybe play an improving move first, like rook c8 or rook e8, something like this.
Yeah.
And if you compare this to the game, here white doesn't have knight e5 available.
Oh, right.
And it's, well, he can play it, but it's just bad, I think.
Yeah, that would be, you could just take...
Yeah, now you can exchange this off and just enjoy the better pawn structure here, knight e4, or yeah, maybe even e4.
This bishop's blocked in by its own pawn, the c5 is good.
That yeah, this is the bishop pair, and maybe this makes it about equal still for white, but it's certainly not great. Maybe it's equal still, but it's only a question if it's equal for white. It's not a question if white can do anything here. It's just we are fighting for a draw from a structurally somewhat worse position.
Well, here, the bishop isn't as dynamic behind its own pawn as it was in the game, striking at b8, controlling
Yeah, the
b8.
first thing you would think of here is how can I get this bishop on e3, and then a4, a5, trying to liquidate the queen side. Yeah, it's not a great position. So I think bishop f4 it's just sensible. It's what can you do? These kind of games here, they're not especially thrilling.
No,
it's just very sensible chess. What can you do? Bishop f4.
Yes.
And now I think a clever move on bishop f4. Vishy played a clever move, not taking immediately or anything, just doing some improving.
C4 might
And
be a
bishop
slight
F5.
weakness to probe later with knight b6 potentially as well. These hanging pawns, they can be fixed down or c4 targeted.
Yeah, the pawns are a potential issue. So we've got bishop f4 coming.
So now knight e5, unfortunately for the crowds, the queens are coming off again. But white wants to maintain a grip. Sorry, we lost connection there.
Completely, I didn't understand anything.
Sorry.
It's just share screen. It's not. Sorry, we cannot do anything.
Okay, we're back though now. We're back now, aren't we? The volume's okay.
Again.
Sorry, I was just saying knight e5. Unfortunately for the crowd, the queen exchange is on the cards now. The queens are coming off after knight e5. But what could white do instead? White is a tricky position.
It's just like you don't have a really good move beside this. The only thing, well, what could you do? Like rook c1, a move like this, but it's really a question if this is a good move, because maybe a4 is a useful move later. We played this.
Oh yes.
And it's really a useful move to try to get something going on the queen side, and it's I don't see really. You cannot really improve the minor pieces, and what would you play then? Okay, some rook move.
That bishop d6, is that a move or is that terrible?
I don't think it's terrible. Like, well, let's say rook e8 or d8. I'm not sure. d8 might put some pressure on d4 at some point. But I'm not sure what's better at first glance. Okay, now you've got your bishop b6, and now what?
It's a target, isn't it? It's just a target for knight b. It's a target. Yeah.
And this is the thing. It's hard to make any progress.
Yeah.
So all right, knight e5. It's just a move that fits the position best, I guess. Okay, so black exchanged and took on e5 also. Yeah, and now first rook d8, he didn't move the knight immediately, first rook d8. And here I think we had a position where I think Anand had got more than 1 hour left, and Gelfand was down to, let's say, 20 minutes or something.
Right.
And I thought it was a bit optimistic because for blackhand, because, well, I love the bishop here, but this is a position where all black's pieces are nicely protected. You've got a very compact setup here, and you've got chances maybe to use this knight as somehow white's position doesn't look so terribly well coordinated. Yeah, you have got those hole on c3, like knight e4 to c3, and this kind of thing. It looked a bit tricky, but well, he managed to nicely control this as white.
Yeah.
First move a4. I think this is really important, yeah, to prevent this bishop a4 moves, and maybe threaten a5 later to gain more space. Those little moves are very important, and often the kinds of moves that you miss in a game.
Taking on f6, some people on YouTube might be wondering, the doubling pawns is of no benefit to white here. He loses his bishop pair, d4 is just weak.
Yeah, this is the problem. The problem is double pawns. I'm not quite sure. It would be interesting if you would have lots of time on your hands to do a statistics, how many double pawns are really weak, and my guess would be that the majority of cases they are not weak. Just like here, because well, how should white attack the f6 pawn?
Yeah, it's not. It's just potential pressure on this diagonal. Maybe the king can come here.
If I give white 5 moves in a row without nonsense stuff like d5, d takes d6, it's hard to think how white should win if you would give him 5 moves in a row.
Yeah, because
you could move rook d3, h3, h6, and take it. Yeah, manage to protect it in the meantime.
No,
so
no.
Black's king can just go on to c7 also.
Yeah.
Well, this maybe gives up any hope to have a clean draw, because d4 is just weak. d4 is much weaker than f6 if you take on f6.
Yeah, yeah. So he needs that bishop for defense, yeah, as well as attack.
maybe a position you can still hold rather comfortably, but it's sort of something.
Oh, I think another option mentioned by Natalia Pogonino on ChessGames.com was actually f3. I'm not sure about f3. To keep the knight out of e4. Is f3 a playable move?
Yeah, it's a move I would consider, at least. The thing is, what happens if black really goes tries this kind of bishop a4 thing?
Yes.
It's not quite clear how much it accomplishes, yeah, but this is the point. If this is an issue, and now maybe knight d7.
Yes, to b6. That would be a really quite annoying on c4, wouldn't it? And immediately threatening knight e5.
Maybe knight c5, yeah, knight c5. B3.
Oh blimey, knight c5 here. Oh blimey, this could start to get very unpleasant. You're right. Oh.
Yeah, and d4, knight b3 to d4 takes it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. F3 is a move that positionally really fits into the position. If you got the time, it's a move you might play because it takes away some nice squares for the knight on e4, the bishop.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, he just, I think it looks like he played very precisely here.
a4.
And a4 just cuts all this kind of
bishop a4 business out
of the game.
Stops any forcing moves from the opponent, because that really disrupts things. These forcing moves, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So the knight's invited actually to come if it wants to be aggressive. It can do before f3 is played. But what is it actually doing on e4? Okay, it's threatening knight c3, which is a dangerous threat to parry, because otherwise that's a bit of a disaster, isn't it? Hi there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, knight c3 has to be parried.
I was just thinking a bit. I think it's mostly irritating for white. And it's not that easy to explore. Okay, you can play f3, but it's got some square on d6 also, where it might be useful.
No, I think if f3, wouldn't white collapse? Knight c3.
Yeah, immediately it's not.
You play f6 here and then d4 drops, isn't it?
Yeah, you cannot play it immediately. No. Knight c3, yeah. Knight c3, rook d2.
Oh, sorry. In this position, are we saying a4, knight e4?
Knight e4. F3 is really bad, I think.
Yeah.
I'd say F3 just a fun line. F3, knight c3, rook d2, f6, bishop g3, rook d4.
Oh, there's this as well, yeah.
This is also quite nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
To put it mildly.
Yeah. Yeah, picking up the rook like that, that's nice as well.
Yeah, there are some tricks. This knight is tricky. So, okay, but he played rook d3, just covering all this.
And also attacking, potentially, b7.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a good multi-purpose move.
Yeah.
The only issue is that it leaves c4 a bit uncovered. But this is just temporarily.
Yeah, it's temporarily. So he's playing very precisely to just stay in the game. And people were saying, oh, it's George, but he has to play very, very precisely to stay in this game. These hanging pawns are a real problem, but he's also finding ways of attacking with rook d3. I thought that was a really good move then, rook d3.
Yeah, it looks like the most exact way to play. And now f6.
Yeah.
Yeah, f6 kicking this bishop.
He goes to f4, not to g3 is the other legal move. If he goes to
really it would just get exchanged and then knight bishop b4 and you maybe bishop b4.
And then you ouch. This is painful as well, isn't it? Rook d2 doesn't look good for white.
I'm not sure about bishop b4 really. Maybe this is not really good. You could also play rook d6, rook d8, and you're the only one playing for something here.
Oh yeah, because black has no exploitable targets. This is really solid.
Maybe even better instead of rook d6 is a5.
All right, just fixing a4. Yes.
Fixing a4 and then attacking d4. And the issue is if white covers it with the rook 2 times, then a4 would be hanging.
Yes.
Maybe this is the most exact move one.
Yeah.
It's something you would need to look at a bit more closely. But it's just playing for a loss here.
Yeah.
Bishop 3.
Yeah.
So
bishop f4, keeping the bishop pair. No, bishop
Now,
e8, nifty looking move, as though maybe, well, as though maybe bishop g6 might be on the cards at some point. But he's keeping an eye on a4. He's putting pressure on c4 immediately.
yeah, the question is how do you cover c4 now?
Yeah. Now, if you play rook c1, you lose the a pawn, I guess.
Yeah, you can just grab it.
There's no rebound on that, is there, to a7? Maybe just b5 here.
c4 hangs. C4 hangs in one move, I think.
All right, just rook takes c4.
Maybe rook c4, but I can maybe rook e3 is an idea.
Maybe b5 is even more interesting here because you don't want really a skewer.
Yeah, I think both moves are good. Yeah.
So
can I do this? He played really the moves that are the best here. Maybe rook
so
b3,
protecting and attacking at the same time, and offering d4 as an exchange of weaknesses, almost like rook takes d4, but he doesn't. So rook takes d4 was played here. Don't know if,
I think he almost needs to, because if he doesn't take now, then white maybe plays bishop e3 and just starts playing for a win.
yeah.
Against the queen side, like a5, c5, and trying to do something against a b7 pawn.
Yeah, these bishops would look menacingly at the queen side, maybe like this, or maybe the bishop can be left there. But yeah, b7 is an open file, semi-open file for white. That is an exploitable target, especially given the bishop's last move. Yeah, he doesn't want b7 that vulnerable.
Yeah, taking is the best move. He took on d4 and then bishop e3, winning tempo here, and now it drops back to d7.
Yes.
And to the maybe negative reaction to people who
yes.
didn't know the game. It was the last move of the game.
Unfortunately, yes, there's no more excitement from this game offered. But I wondered, I thought black was better here. Or someone was mentioning, say takes. Okay, a draw was agreed, but say takes. What about knight c5? Isn't that nice for black, this position?
Yeah, I didn't look at this yet. I need to think about this. Knight c5, yeah, it's certainly a move you could consider. Does it threaten anything besides the rook? Yeah. I mean, what white could play? I'm not quite sure. I don't think that black is better really, but I mean, even if I take on c5, I think I would hold this. It's not great. It's not the best move. No doubt about it. But
actually, maybe a5 here looks reasonable to fix that pawn.
Yeah, or just rook a to b1. How do you cover b7 now?
Yeah. Well, you're always taking on a4 at the moment, anyway. After.
Yeah, it's not winning for white. It's just that I'm trading all this down to nothing.
Yeah, no.
it's not the best line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes on c5. On I can also play rook b5, for instance, or some other move, or rook e3, rook b2, whatever.
What about this?
I think it's difficult to make anything out of this. b7 is still a weakness.
So if rook d2, is that asking for trouble? I suppose just bishop f3 counter-attacking the knight is strong here.
Yeah, maybe. Also rook e3 you could consider.
I think this looks even tastier, doesn't it? Because it's keeping the pressure on b7. Okay, rook e3 as well, yeah. Oh yeah, e6 is good.
Just an offhand idea. e6, yeah.
Yeah.
So knight c5, I could take on c5, take e6.
Yeah.
It's a pawn, but nothing special.
So
I think black instead of playing rook d2 on knight c5 looks decent at first sight, but black can just move the rook to a normal square. I'm not sure.
we can't attack this because simply A takes and you're protecting the rook.
Yeah, and it takes b5 and you're making a very sad face. Yeah, no, not possible.
So there's not actually a great deal black can do here.
I think he would like to put the bishop back on c6 after all. So maybe move the rook on d7 somewhere. Not sure where. Rook to. Yeah, you don't really want to. Yeah, but if you leave the seventh,
actually, in that line, actually on this line, actually there's bishop c6 here.
Yeah, this is where I wasn't sure that bishop f3 is so.
All right, yeah, of course. Sorry, bishop c6, yeah.
And I thought this rook e3 might be an idea, because if then Mike would try bishop c6, I could think of f3.
Of course, yes, f3. To make sure you.
Also not clear. It's not clear. You can start calculating here knight c3 also. Yeah.
Yeah.
C3. This kind of stuff. Attacking a4, attacking e2. Black is quite active.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. The thing is, with those draws, I think it's indeed very likely that it would end in a draw. But it's still, I don't know. You could play on a couple of moves to show why it really is a draw.
Yes.
It's not like a super interesting position, yeah, okay, but you can think about this. If you had this in a game, and no matter what color you have, yeah, if you have white, black, it doesn't matter. If you would have this position against a player who is, let's say, 200 points better than you, and someone tells you, this is a draw, yeah, I would agree draw here. You still would think, oh, I need to sweat a little bit here to actually get this draw.
Yes.
It would be quite interesting to see how those players see the optimal way. And if it's a draw, it's a draw, okay. But it's not like the last person in the audience understood why it's a draw, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that this World Championship match will be the last World Championship match that doesn't have any anti-draw rule.
Oh dear, this is bad how it's been left unexplained. We're here just speculating now. We don't really want to put an engine on, because that's not really a human perspective.
No, it doesn't help really in this kind of position. It's perfectly understandable that they don't want to make a 60-move game out of this, because it's very close to the finish now. And if you think about, it's just one game left now, and after this you potentially have those nerve-wracking tiebreak. So do you really want to play 60 moves? The thing is, one thing which really indicates that there is nothing is that Vishy offered the draw with, 40 minutes more on the clock. He had, 50 minutes, and Gelfand had 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes for 15 moves. It's not like super comfortable, and he still offered the draw. I think if he would think that he really would have anything tangible as black, then he would have played on.
Well,
after all, if he would have won this game as black, the match would have been basically decided.
Well, I guess white can force opposite colour bishops here. In this line we briefly checked. What about just bishop takes e4? If white wants to play for a draw, bishop e3.
Yeah, sure.
And and then it's difficult, isn't it? You could maybe play c5, opposite colour bishops.
In this complete position, c4 can be taken, but you can just take it immediately.
Oh, in this position?
Sorry, it was on d2. Sorry, I saw the rook.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I've just played bishop e3.
Yeah, okay, this is dead. Yeah.
And now c5, so you got the opposite colour bishops. Maybe this is dead draw, if white wants a draw.
Yeah, this is dead, yeah. Especially as white will get in almost certainly a6, yeah, a5, a6, and otherwise black might be tempted to play on if you would have a complete blockade here. Yeah, well, it's a draw and maybe really a fair result there.
Yeah.
So, what can you do?
All right.
So,
should we quickly do an quick overview of this game?
Yep.
So another Rubinstein Nimzo Indian with a surprising looking, well, to quite a lot of the audience, Bishop D7, which did have the effect of causing Boris to spend a long time in deep thought here to come up with A3, which Peter Svidler thought could have been played quicker to cut down his workload by an order of 3 times if he just waits for the opponent's move here, then starts calculating. But no, he spent a long time on A3, but all of White's moves seem quite precise after, in any case. So C4 instead of Bishop B2, and here precise Bishop F4, clamping down on the dark squares. So we had an exchange of queens where it seems the hanging pawns of White were compensated here by White's potential pressure on B7, holding things in the balance here. This rook swinging cross to probe B7, and now swapping literally D4 for B7 potentially, but no, also now after Bishop E3 the option of just taking on A7, and here a draw was agreed. Okay, so it's not the sort of game we'd go out of our way to cover on our YouTube channels, but a solid high class draw. Okay, so Chris, anything else? Otherwise, should we wrap it up there and wait for the final game tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah, I got a little one. It's not tomorrow, it's on Monday.
Oh, Monday, sorry, Monday.
Yeah, this is what I actually wanted to mention, because the final game will be on Monday. There will be a rest day before this, so I think it makes sense so that both players get a rest day before their last White game. So tomorrow is off. You can enjoy the weather if you're in Europe. It's very, very warm. But I wanted to add something. If you got the time to watch the live broadcast on Monday, you would have on the official site, I think if I understood this correctly, they will have both Peter Svidler and Vladimir Kramnik commentating. So it's about the best you can get. So it's very interesting to listen to.
Yeah.
And once in a while they interrupt the commentary for some very insightful documentaries on Russian art, which also might interest some people. But well, the broadcast is really excellent. You got nice video footage, and also I can assure you that those commentaries by Svidler and Kramnik will be very insightful.
Yes, I found it amazing to listen to his comments about, you know, where things belong and time management and a lot of practical issues which you don't often get to read out in books. You know, he was talking about a lot of practical issues, I thought.
Yeah, he's very good at commentating, and also Kramnik is also very good.
Yeah.
So not as a player, also as explaining stuff. Yeah, it's a different kind of thing, just playing well and also explaining the thought process. So both are also good friends, so they will have nice chemistry there. So I'm looking very much forward to this. And also we can see the last game where it will be decided if we got a playoff or we will have a decision at the last moment. Remember 2 years ago in Bulgaria, everyone thought we would get a playoff, and then Topalov lost his right to the final game. So.
Oh yeah. Dramatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all on Monday again.
Yes. Okay, I hope everyone on YouTube enjoyed that. Comments on questions on both our channels, King's Crusher and Chess Explained YouTube channels. Okay, look forward to Monday. Okay, thanks everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.